Okay, so, hi, hello. Welcome back to a different type of video I'm doing today. And today's Halloween, so, happy Halloween for everyone who is going to celebrate it, or for those who don't celebrate it, then, have a happy day. Okay, so, I have three true scary horror stories this time around for Halloween. So, hopefully, y'all enjoy. So, getting into it. Story number one. I was almost a victim of a killer. Over 4 years ago, I went to work at a warehouse in a small town that I'm from. I decided to leave after my health started to get worse physically, and I was diagnosed with panic disorder and severe anxiety after a situation that I'm about to tell you. This changed the way I developed friendships after that job, that's for certain. So, I started this job on April Fool's Day of 2018, which was odd to me. And I had no kind of high expectations of the job. All I want, all I wanted was to do my job, get paid, and go home as I had two children at home, and many things I could work on there. The job wasn't hard, and it made pretty good money for all duties considered. So I really couldn't complain. I worked second shift for about 5 months, and I went to day shift. While working on second shift, I kept mostly to myself until one day I met someone from one of the lines after we struck up a conversation about gaming. For the sake of anonymity, we'll name him JF. Well, JF was a pretty good guy, and we had a lot of things in common. I went home that night, and he popped up as a suggested friend on Facebook. Again, another oddity. So I decided to add him. When I did, we started talking more at work until he suggested that we should hang out. So we did hang out pretty frequently. We were friends for a month, and at this point, and one day he decided that he was going to introduce me to his partner. She seemed decent at first, super nice, and didn't seem to be a judgmental type, so I was cool with her. From then on, I would hang out with him when my kids were spending time with my mother. One time we were talking at a restaurant, and he started to vent to me. Dude, she's such a bitch sometimes. The other day, I forgot to take the trash out and she threatened to stab me if I didn't. I'd never been in a relationship where someone treated me, she's got good intentions, dude. When he said that to me, I was concerned, but of course we only been friends for a month, so I thought that maybe he was being morbid jokingly, so I chuckled at him. He gave me a pretty serious look and said, "I'm not joking, she really did." That concerned me. Fast forward about 8 months, and they're still together, and we all hang out pretty regularly, forgetting the things he told me then. One day we were all talking, and he seemed a little off that day, so I asked him what was wrong in front of her. He flashed a smirk and said, "Nothing, dude. I'm just a little tired." He didn't have his eyes on me, though. He had them on her when I asked that. When we went to work the next day, I asked him again, "Do you promise to keep this between us?" "Of course," I agreed. He said that he was breaking up with her and she went a little crazy. He said that she grabbed her gun and pointed it at him and said, "If I can't have you, then no one will." He said that and he diffused the situation and was trying to look for a way out. Not really knowing what to say, I just said, "You'll figure it out, man. And if you need somewhere to go, then you can come stay with me until we get her out of the house." Fast forward to another year, and he finally decided to leave her. When he did, she flipped out again, this time. He told her over text, and she said that she was going to find him and kill him. And he was actually out of work that day with a vacation day. He sent me a text that said, "Hey, let me know if she comes over to work looking for me." That struck me as odd because I had no idea of the situation that was unfolding. She actually did come to our job and she asked me where he was, and I said, "I have no idea. I thought he was with you and you guys went out of town or something." All she did was roll up her window and drive off. I called him and told him that she came by, and he called the police about it. They had found her up the road with a loaded gun in her car. 2 months later, he decided to talk to her again, and when he did, he had something to tell him. He had something to tell me. When he called me, he asked if I had seen her around, and I hadn't. He said, "I would like to take some vacation days if I were you," dumbfounded. I asked him why. He said to me, because she's out of jail and her cousins are in town trying to find the people she has personal vendettas with. You are one of them. At that point, I was terrified. I grabbed my kids and went out of town. I took 2 weeks off of work, and I come to find out the next day, her and her cousins went to the next town and shot 3 people in an apartment and killed them. I got the news about it the day I got the news about it the day that it happened. The reason why he knew they were coming after me is because they made a Facebook Messenger group that he was included in and sent a list of names. Everyone regarded it as spam and said disregard. Everyone regarded it as spam and decided to disregard the message. But he knew what it was. 3 of the names on the list were the people that they shot. The 4th name on the list was mine. After they found the evidence, he decided to go public about the group and screenshots that he had. They're all charged with first-degree murder. From then on, I was very careful about who I would stick my neck out, because even though he knew the context of the list and her intentions, he decided to not inform anyone else of it. Needless to say, we aren't friends anymore, and I dodged a bullet. Literally. Sorry for the long post, I feel like I needed context. Stay safe, y'all. Okay. Okay, so that was the first story. And man, that was Jesus Christ, that was deep. But hey, people are crazy. There's nothing else I can say about that. Holy shit. Okay, so that's the first story. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. I'm glad that OP is not dead, or you know, hopefully he's not. Hopefully he and his family are okay. Moving on to the second one. The cartoon character Stalker. My parents had purchased a condo about 10 minutes from the home around the time my older brother was born, with the intention that my siblings and I have an option of renting it when we will become of age. I moved in alongside my brother a few weeks after my 18th birthday, exhilarated by the freedom from our childhood home, which had been laden with traumatic memories over the years. The move took 2 or 3 days, and we had a U-Haul coming in and out of the driveway during that time. My first day of college occurred a few days later. I had a full schedule, I had a full schedule, 3 days a week, which I would later regret, with my last class getting out at 6 p.m. The city I live in is notorious for heavy traffic, and I would not get home until roughly an hour and a half later. Despite the university being less than 15 miles away, the sun was mostly down by the time I turned into my street, and there were a few people, some accompanied and one alone taking their evening strolls. There was nothing remarkable about it. The driveway was occupied, so I parked on the street and made my way home. The following day, I got off my closing shift at 9 p.m. It was dark by the time I got home, and there was a man walking on the strip of sidewalk that faces the condo. I would not have noticed, but he was a lone man from the evening before. If it was not him for wearing the same outfit, a bright yellow hoodie, black nylon track pants with a pinstripe, gray Nike trainers, and a tan baseball cap. I got out of my car and we shared a quick glance and continued on our ways. 2 days later, I got off my closing shift and picked up my now ex-boyfriend up for a date. We went back to the condo so that I could change, and in the dark I saw the man again, wearing the same outfit and on the same strip of sidewalk. It's him again. I sounded more surprised than sussed out. My boyfriend was confused. I explained that I had been seeing him walking around and he was always wearing the same thing. We got out of the car and stared at him, our bodies turned towards him. He ducked behind the car, now properly sussed out. We got back in my car and watched him get into his and drive away with his lights off. It was too dark and he was too far away for us to catch a license plate. At this point, I was not sure if the man had even lived in the neighborhood. We went about our night and I dropped my boyfriend back off at his parents' house. He told me to call him and or the police if I saw the man again, and I agreed. I got home around midnight and the man was a street away in his usual spot, crouching below a tree and hugging his knees under his chin. I drove past him and noticed a different man in a blue flannel and jeans approaching the streetlight. He got under the illuminating glow and pulled his phone out, attempting to make a call. I was unsure the two men had association with each other until I looked back over at the yellow hoodie man. He was no longer under the tree, and he was also under a streetlight a few meters away from the tree, his back turned to me. But it appeared that he was taking a call. As I looked back and forth between the two men, it became pretty obvious that they were communicating with each other. I drove away and called the police, and they told me to stay where I was or go to another safe location, and that they would contact me when the matter was taken care of. I dozed off and then awoken maybe an hour later by the promised phone call. I was told that neither of the two men were residents of the area, and that they were simply told not to come back on reports of suspicious activity. After being advised to call again if they came back, I went home. I was tired enough that I had no trouble sleeping for a little while. Around 4 a.m., I was sharply roused by the metal screen door rattling against its frame. The force slowly grew in intensity and eventually the walls and floors were creaking. I peeked through the blinds of my second-story window, which overlooked the front door, and of course saw the man in the yellow hoodie. Aggressively attempting to open the screen door, I was shaking in my boots on my mattress, which was still on the floor, as I had not yet purchased a bed frame. I received a call from my equally bewildered brother who was in his room. I told him to call my dad while I called the police. It has now been almost four years, and I can assure you that all my street smarts have markedly improved. Okay. So that was the second story. I really wish that they talked more about... I really wish they talked more about the cartoon character Stalker, but I think what they meant by the cartoon character Stalker, that the guy looked like a cartoon character. But still, breaking and entering is pretty fucking scary no matter how old you are, unless you're like Liver King and you're just doped up all the time. But yeah, hopefully y'all enjoy that one. Also, I like to say sorry if I'm kind of, slurring my words and kind of like messing up words time to time. I woke up like an hour ago, so, sorry about that. I'm so kind of tired, but hey, we're moving on. And last but not least, the last story of the video. The time I was stabbed. This story was true when I was younger and braver and kind of did stupid stuff without thinking. It's a wild ride, and it's all true. I used to work at a pizza shop down the street from 2 p.m. until they closed. I usually didn't get off until 11 or so at night, and I had a car. But it was close enough to walk, so I did that most of the days to save gas. This particular night, I was doing my usual things. Jamming to one of my playlists, tired, but happy to have a good job and just generally happy with the way my life was going. Up ahead, about a block from my place, I see an attractive guy in dark clothing walking. But not with a purpose, really. He was taller than me, maybe 5'10", 6 foot maybe, or so, and he had shaggy brown hair. The closer I got to him, the more I could tell he was really good looking. Like, even in the dark of the night, I was starting to get excited. His features kind of escaped me now, but I do remember his hair and his thick eyebrows. I took an earbud out, and because I'm from a dangerous city, I never really cared about stranger danger. I decided to talk to him, maybe even flirt a little bit. "How's your late night going?" "It's good, just looking to get drunk." "Oh, that I can help with. I got a mini bar at my place. I just live down the street." That was not verbatim, but how the conversation went. During the walk back to my place, I got no red flags from this guy. He seemed totally normal, and I was honestly thinking, wow, just through sheer luck, I met this super hunky guy, and he seems cool and fun. I was beside myself, really. So we got into my apartment on the second floor, and I jumped into host mode and offered him to have a seat and make himself comfortable. The apartment is about 640 square feet, so it's very small, except for the bathroom, and you can see the rest of the apartment from any area. I head into the kitchen, and while I'm pouring drinks, I glance back over at him. It was then when I noticed the first red flag. As I was asking him questions, he is more delayed with his answers, especially more so when he was just on our walk there. It was just odd to me. I go back over to the couch, pass him a drink, and sit down next to him. So, what do you do for work? I asked. Oh, I'm not here for sex. He puts his drink down the table. What do you mean? I'm not after sex either. He stands up. What you got? He asks me. His nice guy vernacular and friendly face are now gone. I'm having a hard time processing what he means by this. I said, what you got? The second I stand up, he pushes me back. I fly across the room, hitting the floor, but not hard enough to pass out or anything. I get right back up, but he's already grabbed my laptop and my work bag. As I start towards him, he cuts around me and makes his way towards the front door. I'm right behind him when he makes it outside. I manage to grab a hold of him and we tussle again in the front of the door. Now I shout out, calling out for help from the neighbors. It's late at night, so no one comes, and I'm shouting, please help, I'm being robbed. The next thing is, he has my laptop. It's not just any laptop, I hate to admit it, but my entire life was on that laptop at the time. Important photos that I didn't have back up, thousands of dollars in music programs, video game programming stuff for a development team I helped, really expensive software, etc. It was, in my mind, irreplaceable. I give chase down the stairs across the dog walk park, and I started to gain on him. We tussle again, and the only thing I can focus on is my laptop. I knew that I had to, at any cost, get my laptop back. That was absolutely all I cared about. Somehow, I get a grip of my laptop, and I tug at it again. And I guess he decides I'm not worth all the struggle. He gets up and starts to take off again, and I now realize he still has my work bag. It has my cell phone and wallet with my license, debit card, AAA card, etc. in it. I take off towards him again, and this time he shouts back at me. Follow me and I will stab you. This makes me stop my tracks, and he gets away. Underneath a street lamp along the sidewalk, I immediately inspect myself. Was I stabbed? No way, there's no way. Then I see blood running down my leg. I see blood on my arm, 2 places where he cut me good. I'm scared, but the blood makes it look worse than it is. I decided that's enough. I got my laptop, and that's all I really wanted anyway. I hobble back home, I get inside and lock my door. I call the cops using my neighbor's phone the next day and filed a police report, explaining the situation. Showing the stab wounds and declining medical services, I can't afford that, and I was fine all things considered. So, all that guy got was a crappy cell phone and a wallet with like $30 to $40 in it. The cop called my friend back several days later and said that they were never able to find the guy, and that he will keep me posted. This was years ago, and I don't know where the robber is now. But I have every electronic thing of importance backed up on multiple drives to this day. Okay. So, I don't know how to say this, but I'm a dude. And even I won't go up to a random person on the street and it's like, hey, let's go back to my house. No, that's a red flag on OP's part. First off. Second of all, if the guy's wearing all black walking home at night, there's nothing wrong wearing all black, but you do gotta just make some assumptions at times, like, why is he wearing all black? You know, I wouldn't bring him to my house. Or even if it was a girl wearing all black, I would not bring her to my house. I've seen horror movies. That's not a good thing to do. But yeah, I'm glad OP is safe. And also, like, the part for being stabbed is true. When you are stabbed in real life, you don't notice it when your adrenaline is rushing until after it's gone, and then you're just bleeding all over the place. So I like that she also mentioned that too. I've been stabbed before, So, it's not fun. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. But be careful. Don't bring people to your house that you don't know. Be safe. And yeah, I like to end it here for today. And also, the story kind of relates to Halloween. Be careful on Halloween. You don't know what's going to happen, you know. But be safe. Don't be scared of Halloween. Just be vigilant. You don't know what could happen that day. And yeah, so today's Halloween yet again. Hope you all have a happy Halloween. Hopefully everyone gets a lot of good candy. And if you don't celebrate and go to a party, hope you have a good party. If you are of age, drink responsibly. Um, and yeah, hopefully you all get good candy. And if you're staying home for Halloween, hope you watch a good horror movie. And yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I do want to say thank you guys so much for watching the video. Happy Halloween yet again. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.